Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am just Mike. You are watching and you are listening to episode number 57 of the Rock Out Wild Show, where it is not just a show, it is a way of life. Now, if you are new to this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below this very video. You can also like or dislike this episode of the Rock Out Wild Show. And you can also share this episode on all your social media platforms, from your Facebook to your Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, to your Instagram, to your YouTube, to your Snapchat, what have you. And also spread the word. Tell everyone what the Rock Out Wild Show is all about, from your family to your friends, to your acquaintances, to your co-workers. Let everyone know about the Rock Out Wild Show. I am your host, Just Mike, and as you see from the title of this very video, the main event for episode 57 of the Rock Out Wild Show will be Beyond the Black, songs and albums ranked. And for this episode, I will be ranking my top 20 favorite songs by Beyond the Black with some honorable mentions, and I will be ranking all of their 6 studio albums up to date from my least favorite to my most favorite. That will be the main event for this very episode. Also on the docket, we are going to take a look at On This Day for February the 11th in film, television, wrestling, sports, and music. But to kick things off on episode 57 of the Rock Out Wild Show, I'm going to react to an old movie review of mine, a movie called Kingsman, The Secret Service. So let's present, share screen. Well, actually, before I present, let's open up the webcam first and say hi to everyone and say what is up, how is it going, how is everyone's day? I'd like to know. Leave all that in the chat box right beside this very episode. So let's react, shall we? So let's present, share screen. Let's go to the review. Make sure the audio is on, obviously. Perfect. Let's go full screen. And usually before I react to this movie review of mine, I usually guess the amount of points that I give the movie at the very end. For Kingsman: The Secret Service, I remember this being a really, really damn good movie. I think I was really, really positive about this, and I think my score is really high. My prediction, now I don't know, I haven't seen this review in a long ass time, so I'm thinking I gave Kingsman: The Secret Service 94 points out of 100. You can hold me to that, but we'll see as I react. So let's do this in 3, 2, 1, action. When a movie opens up with Money for Nothing by Dire Straits, you know you're going to be in for one crazy wild ride. And that's exactly what this was. Money for nothing, chicks for free. That is one awesome song, by the way. Hey, what's up and how's it going, all movie fans in the movieverse? Welcome to the Mike McRock Movie Review Show. Right now I'm going to review Kingsman: The Secret Service, and this is a movie about a spy organization who is led by a man by the name of Harry, who's played by Colin Firth, as he recruits an unrefined but promising street kid by the name of Iggsy, who's played by Taron Egerton, as a global threat emerges from a twisted tech genius played by Samuel Mother Truckin' Jackson. Got that right. And this movie is just absolutely crazy awesome, and I will explain why. Colin Firth is the leading role. He is the leader of the Secret Service in this Kingsman world, and the Kingsmen in this movie are really gentlemen, but they will take care of your problems. If you have a abusive boyfriend, they will beat the crap out of him, and they will tend to you. They're actually gentlemen. They're really good guys. They will kick ass if you cross their path. And
Colin Firth in this movie, this is a guy who's in his 50s, and going into this movie, I felt like, how's he going to do in this really action-packed movie? Is he going to provide really good physical action, and does he? Absolutely, he does. This
Yeah.
guy is just absolutely go, go, go when it comes to action. He is not Liam Neeson where he's struggling in his action sequences.
Right.
He's the complete opposite. This guy looks great. He is very believable as a leader when it comes to his physical performance in his action sequences, and he is an awesome performer when it comes to acting as well.
Absolutely.
And with Taron Egerton, I feel like this guy is the next breakout performer. I feel like that he could be the next Leonardo DiCaprio. And I felt like that I saw moments of Leonardo DiCaprio in this kid's performance. I think this will be the next one of the next big actors. Watch out for him. This guy is a force to be reckoned with. And of course, you have Samuel Jackson in this movie. And what I like about Samuel L. Jackson is that he has a lisp when it comes to his talking in this movie, and it really adds to how cheesy and over the top this movie is. And the way his acting is over the top, it really adds that element to this movie. And this movie is absolutely incredible to watch. And it's one of those movies where, you know what? Just don't take life too serious.
I
Yeah,
agree.
it's one of those kind of movies. The action
Yeah, absolutely.
is something worth watching in this movie. I just the way it's well done. It's very stylish. It's very modern in a tribute to old school British action. It has that kind of feel where it's really silly and goofy and over the top, but you just can't help but glue your eyes to the screen all the way through this movie. This movie had me from second one to the very end.
Yeah.
Absolutely, no question about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those movies where it really pushes the boundaries. This movie does not hold back at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Case in point, one of the main characters, Colin Firth, he goes into a church and kills a lot of people in the church. And it's one of those things where I bet people making this movie were like, oh, is he going to do this? No, he's not going to do this type of thing. He's a good guy. But no, they don't do any of that stuff. Yes, he does this. Yes, he's going to do this. He's going to do this, that, and everything else. And they really push everything in this movie. This does not hold back at all. This is balls to the walls action. And what I really
And little known fact, I was subscribed to a YouTube channel called What the Flick way back when this movie came out. And there was a couple of people on that panel where they hated the church scene, that action scene inside the church. And they made that review all very political. And after that, I unsubscribed to them. I never watched a single video of theirs after that. That's just a little known fact for you. Way back when, when I was looking at other people's movie reviews. Yeah, that actually happened. Let's continue.
like I said, this movie is very self-aware. It knows what it is.
It does, yeah.
It is, and they even mention movies like James Bond, how it's very James Bondish in that British type of feel. It's also
keep in mind, this movie came out before Deadpool. So Deadpool kind of took from Kingsman: The Secret Service. Just to point that out.
Also very Kill Bill,
very Kill
Born
Bill.
Identity, yep. X-Men, throwing in a Men in Black, even Austin Powers. This movie has a lot of elements of a lot of great movies. Yep. I feel like this could be a franchise. Yeah. And it could work as a franchise.
It did.
I hope that's the case. And I really enjoyed this movie. My only little issue with the movie is that there is a little missed opportunity with this one nemesis who's fighting Joel Egerton's character in the movie. And it kind of gets pushed to the wayside a little. It doesn't... I'll put it to you this way: there could have been more done there, but
Right.
overall, I had a lot of fun with this movie. Uh, like I said, this does not hold back one bit. They throw in a bit of pop and circumstance at the end of this movie where all these heads explode. And
Amazing.
it's the funniest thing I have ever seen. And like I said, this is a good example of just don't take action movies way too serious. And I
Yeah.
like this movie. Really lightens up the tone, even though it's a rated R movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird in that sense. So overall, I'm going to say that the Kingsman Secret
Here we go.
Service delivered 94 points out of 100. Go see this
About
movie and
freaking
not
on.
50 Shades of Shit. And if you already saw this movie, what did you think about it? Feel free to comment below and let me know. While you're at it, you can also hit that subscribe button down below this video as well to get McRocks.
Well, holy crap. That is one of those rare times where I actually got my points on the freaking nose correct. 94 points out of 100 for Kingsman: The Secret Service. Looking back at this movie, I would definitely watch this again. I would. In fact, I don't remember much in the way of what the main story really is. I remember this being, the spoof action movie and all that stuff. This movie being hilarious and all that stuff. I remember all that. But the actual story, this is why I like to watch movies a second time so I can get a refresher, if you will. So if you were to ask me if I wanted to watch this movie again, if it came on somewhere, heck yeah, I would. I mean, if your movie, like I said in my intro for my review, if your movie opens up with Money for Nothing, Chicks for Free by Dire Straits, you know you're in for a good one. And I'll leave it at that. Now let's take a look at some of the stuff that we know you get to see on the Rock Out Wild Show, and that is this installment I like to call On This Day. And we're going to start with film and television. So let's present, share screen, and let's take a look at what happened for February the 11th in movies and TV history. In 1922, April Showers by Al Jolson hits number 1. In 1938, Steve Casey beats Lou Thesz in Boston to win the American Wrestling Association World Heavyweight Championship. A little bit of wrestling mixed in with the TV and film. Also in 1938, the world's first science fiction TV program is a broadcast of the play R.U.R. by Karel Capek. In 1954, 6 Emmy Awards. I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy, I should say. Donald O'Connor and Eve Arden win. In 1957, KUMTV TV Channel 8 in Williston, ND, North Dakota, I do believe, begins broadcasting. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. In 1958, BBC pioneering series Your Life in Their Hands, first broadcast presented by Dr. Charles Fletcher, first major TV series to deal with medicine. In 1958, also, WCTV TV Channel 9 in Chattanooga, Tennessee begins broadcasting. In 1960, Jack Parr walks off his TV show. Mention walking off your TV show. In 1975, TV drama Sarah T. Portrait of a Teenage Alcoholic starring Linda Blair premieres on the U.S. network NBC. You mean to tell me she done more than The Exorcist? Well, there is that one episode of Supernatural, but I didn't know that happened either. A little bit of music history in the film and television. In 1979, 43 million people watched Elvis on ABC. Picture that for a second. 43 million people watched Elvis on ABC back in 1979. That's the power of the one true king of rock and roll. In 1979, Marvin Hellish, Carol Bayer Sager, and Neil Simon's musical They're Playing Our Song, starring Robert Klein and Lucy Arnaz, opens at Imperial Theater, New York City, and it runs for 1,082 performances. In 1983, Weird Al Yankovic records Ricky and the Buckingham Blues to complete his debut LP at Scottsy Brothers Studios in Santa Monica, California. In 1993, 43rd Berlin International Film Festival, Woman Sesame Oil Maker and The Wedding Banquet win the Golden Bear as a tie. In 1994, Lou Parker of South Carolina is crowned the 43rd Miss USA. In 1998, 48th Berlin International Film Festival, Central Station wins Golden Bear. In 2007, 60th British Academy Film Awards, BAFTAs, The Queen, Best Film, Paul Greengrass, Best Director. In 2009, Uri Geller purchases Lamb Island, Scotland, previously known for its witch trials. In 2010, 60th Berlin International Film Festival, Honey wins the Golden Bear. In 2014, 11 people are killed after a grenade was tossed into a movie theater in Peshawar, Pakistan. Well, it's Pakistan, it's no surprise. In 2016, 6 Democratic presidential candidate debate broadcast on CNN and PBS and held in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And in 2024, Super Bowl LVIII is the most watched TV program in U.S. history, averaging 123.4 million viewers across television and streaming platforms. Those are all the things that happened on this day in film and television for February the 11th. Now let's take a look at what happened in wrestling for February the 11th. As you see, there is a picture of Bayley on the left and Charlotte on the right. An old NXT match back in the black and gold days. Those were the days of NXT right there. In 1969, Dory Funk Jr. defeated Gene Kinsky in Tampa, Florida to win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Funk's title would last for around 4 years from this date. In 1983, in an exertion to the USA, Giant Baba defeated Harley Race to win the Pacific Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship. In 1984, Tito Santana became the WWF Intercontinental Champion in Boston with a win over Don Morocco. In 1996, an action-packed WCW Super Brawl VI took place at the Bayfront Center, St. Petersburg, Florida. Maybe the most memorable moment on the card was an I Respect You strap match between Kevin Sullivan and Brian Pillman. I wonder, did Pillman call him Booker Man that day? I'm just curious. After just 59 seconds, Pillman grabbed the mic and said, I respect you, Booker Man. There it is, right there, giving Sullivan the win. The utterance was a reference to Sullivan's position as head booker of the company at the time and was supposed to be part of Pillman's insider loose cannon angle. I mean, he did have a gun at one point, didn't he? Need I say more? Not long after he was given his very real release in an effort to make the storyline look even more legit. He promptly used this release and jumped ship to WWE, never to return. WCW managed to work themselves into being worked. In other words, they worked themselves into a shoot, brother. Also on the card, Ric Flair defeated Macho Man Randy Savage to win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. And in the main event, the Liar himself, Hulk Hogan, defeated the Giant in a steel cage match. In 2007, TNA Wrestling's Against All Odds pay-per-view took place at the Impact Zone in Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. In the main event, Christian Cage retained the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against Kurt Angle. In 2010, during a quarterly investor call, Vince McMahon made the announcement that WWE would be dropping the Survivor Series pay-per-view name. The decision was reversed, and the pay-per-view brand never missed a single year. How in the world do you drop the Survivor Series name is beyond me. I'm just saying. In 2014, NJPW presented their New Beginnings event in Osaka, Japan. The only title change saw Tomohiro Ishii beat Tetsuya Naito to win the Never Openweight Championship. In the main event, Kazuchika Okada retained the IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Hiroki Goto. In 2015, NXT presented TakeOver Rival from Full Sail University in Florida. In the main event, Kevin Owens defeated Sami Zayn to end his brief NXT Championship run. The semi-main event saw a historical significant moment that brought together the four horsewomen of NXT in a fatal four-way match. Sasha Banks won the match against Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Bayley to win the NXT Women's Championship. Also in 2015, NJPW held their New Beginnings in Osaka event in Osaka, Japan, with a number of huge title changes taking place. In the main events, the phenomenal AJ Styles famously won the IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Hiroshi Tanahashi. In the main events, before that, Bullet Club, Doug Gallows, and Carl Anderson won the IWGP Tag Team Championship from Hiroki Goto and Kazuchika Shibata. The third title change of the night, actually the first in terms of card positioning, saw the Young Bucks winning a triple threat match to win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. Their opponents were Red Dragon, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish, and the Time Splitters, Alex Shelley and Kushida. In 2016, two title changes took place at NJPW's New Beginnings in Osaka event in Osaka, Japan. The Never Openweight six-man tag team championship changed hands when Bullet Club, Bad Luck Fail, Tama Tonga, and Yurugo Takahashi defeated Jay Briscoe, Mark Briscoe, and Toru Yano. In the main event, Kazuchika Okada retained the IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Hiroki Goto. In 2017, NJPW's New Beginnings in Osaka event took place at the Eden Arena in Osaka, Japan. Oh my God, there's a lot of events that happened in Japan in years past. In the main event, Tetsuya Naito retained the IWGP Intercontinental Championship against Michael Elgin. The only title change saw Bushi, Sanada, and Evil win the Never Openweight six-man tag team championship from Hiroshi Tanahashi, Manabu Nakanishi, and Ryuki Takushi. If I mispronounced those, feel free to leave those comments in the comment section below. In 2017, Chavo Guerrero Sr. had passed away after fighting a battle with cancer at the age of 68. In 2018, at Progress Chapter 63, Take Me Underground from the O2 Ritz in Manchester, Mark Haskins and Jimmy Havoc defeated James Drake and Zach Gibson to win the Progress Tag Team titles. In 2019, in the Edition Arena in Osaka, Japan, NJPW presented their annual New Beginnings in Osaka event. In the main event, Jay White caused something of a shock by defeating Hiroshi Tanahashi to win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. In 2019, on an episode of Raw from Grand Rapids, Michigan, The Revival, Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson, aka Tap Don't Tap, defeated Bobby Roode and Chad Gable to win the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships. In 2021, Meiko Satomura made her NXT UK debut, defeating Isla Dawn. And she's the real final boss, The Rock. All right, you get it? Got it? Good. We have some notable wrestling birthdays for February the 11th. We got Hernandez, was born in 1973. And the man who invented the tap out and the ankle lock, Ken Shamrock, was born on February the 11th, 1964. Those are all the things that happened on this day for February the 11th in wrestling. Now let's take a look at what happened in sports for February the 11th, and I'm sure we have a lot here as usual. In 1851, inaugural first-class cricket match in Australia. Kamasina versus Victoria in Lanscombe, Tasmania wins by 3 wickets. In 1878, first U.S. bicycle club, the Boston Bicycle Club, forms. In 1908, Australia regained the Ashes with a 308-run cricket victory versus England. In 1927, U.S. Men's Figure Skating Championship won by Nathaniel Niles. In 1928, Second Winter Olympic Games opened in St. Moritz, Switzerland. In 1938, Steve Casey beats Lou Thesz in Boston to win the American Wrestling Association World Heavyweight Championship. In 1948, Billy Griffith scored cricket century on debut England versus Wisconsin out of 1 for 140. Or WI. Yeah, I'm not sure what the WI stands for, but I'm just guessing at the moment here. I think it might be West Indies, I do believe. In 1948, Test cricket debut of Frank Worrell for the West Indies versus England at Port of Spain. Yeah, West Indies. In 1949, Willie Pep recaptures the World Featherweight boxing title. In 1950, Englishman Jack Holden wins Empire Games Marathon in Auckland, New Zealand in 2:32:57 runs, last 9 miles barefoot after his shoes fell apart during the race. Imagine your shoes falling apart during a race. I mean, that has to suck. Anyway, let's move on. In 1952, second NBA All-Star Game, Boston Garden, East beats West, 108-91, MVP Paul Arizin, Philadelphia Warriors. In 1957, NHL Players Association forms. Red Wings Ted Lindsay elected president. In 1959, Vino Mankat ends his final Test cricket versus versus WI at Delhi. In 1963, the Beatles record 10 of the 14 tracks for the first UK album, Please Please Me, in marathon recording session. Music in the world of sports. Go figure. In 1965, Braves proposed to pay 5 cents from each ticket to bring a new team to Milwaukee. In 1966, San Francisco Giants outfielder Willie Mays signs the highest contract of $130,000 per year. No wonder I left my heart there. In 1970, John Lennon pays 1,344, I do believe, euros. Fines for 96 protesting South African rugby team playing in Scotland. In 1971, Montreal Canadian John Belleville scores his 500th NHL goal. 1973, first sub-17-minute 1,500-meter female freestyle swim is achieved by Australian swimmer Shane Gould in 16 minutes, 56.9 seconds. 16 minutes, I should say. In 1973, Philadelphia 76ers lose their 20th consecutive NBA game. In 1974, first Major League Baseball attribution case, Minnesota Twins pitcher Dick Woodson seeking $29,000 wins. Twins offers $23,000. In 1976, John Curry wins Britain's first Olympic gold medal in figure skating at Innsbruck Winter Games. Finishes men's singles ahead of Soviet staker Vladimir Kovalov and Canadian taller Cranston. 1978, 25th hat trick in New York Islander history, Dennis Potvin second. In 1982, Ozzie Smith for Gary Templeton trade between San Diego Padres and St. Louis Cardinals finally goes through after 62 days. In 1984, Wayne Gretzky sets NHL shorthanded season scoring record at 11. And for some reason above there it says NBA record. What the heck? Anyway, In 1985, Kent Herbrecht signs 5-year, $6 million contract with Minnesota Twins. In 1985, also, Wasim Akram takes 10 wickets in his second Test cricket. New Zealand still wins. In 1986, Australia beats India 2-0 to win cricket's World Series Cup. David Boone scores the most runs in the series of 418. In 1987, England beats Australia 2-0 to win cricket's World Series Cup. In 1990, 40th NBA All-Star Game, Miami Arena, Miami, Florida. East beats West 130-113. MVP, Magic Johnson of the LA Lakers. In 1990, in a huge upset, James Buster Douglas KOs Mike Tyson in 10th round in Tokyo, Japan, to win the World Heavyweight Boxing title. There he is right there. The man, the myth, the legend, in his own mind. In 1990 also, U.S. Male Figure Skater Championship won by Todd Eldridge. In 1995, Daniel Loader swims world record 400-meter freestyle of 340.46. Also in 95, Sandra Volker swims European record 50 meters backstroke 27.67 seconds. Also in 95, U.S. Male Figure Skating Championship won by Todd Eldridge. Also in 95, West Indies score 5-6-6-0 against New Zealand in Test cricket. 5-660, I should say. And also in 1996, 46th NBA All-Star Game. Alamo San Antonio, Texas, East beats West 129-118. MVP, Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls. Is still the best basketball player of all time, in my opinion. In 1997, Bill Parcells becomes head coach of the New York Jets. In 2001, 50th NBA All-Star Game, MCI Center in Washington, D.C. East beats West 111-110. MVP, Allen Iverson of the Philadelphia 76ers. In 2014, slopestyle freestyle skiing event makes Olympics debut at Sochi Winter Games. Canadian Dara Howell is inaugural women's gold medalist. In 2018, Dutchman Seven Kramer becomes only male speed skater to win the same Olympic event 3 times, claiming gold in the 5,000 meter at Pyeongchang, first man to win total 8 Olympic medals in sports. Also in 2018, Norway sweeps the medals in the Olympic 30K cross-country skiathlon at Pyeongchang. Simon Hegstad Kruger wins gold ahead of teammates Martin John Strud, Sunby, and Hans Christer Holland. In 2021, Caitlin Clark scores a season-high 39 points for Iowa against Nebraska, breaking the single-game scoring record for Pinnacle Bank Arena. In 2024, Super Bowl LVIII is the most watched TV program in U.S. history, averaging 123.4 million viewers across television and streaming platforms. Also in 2024, Super Bowl LV III, Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada. Kansas City Chiefs win back-to-back titles in 35 years with an overtime 25-22 win over the San Francisco 49ers. MVP Patrick Mahomes. Also in 2024, Usher performs the halftime show at the Super Bowl LVIII with guests Alicia Keys, will.i.am, Lil Jon, Her, and Ludacris. Those are all the things that happened on this day in the world of sports for February the 11th. And for the final topic for on this day, we're going to take a look at some music for February the 11th in years past. Picture of Whitney Houston right there. So, on this day, in February the 11th, 2012, Whitney Houston passed away and was found dead at the Beverly Hills Hilton Hotel on the eve of the 54th Annual Grammy Awards. The following day, members of the Recording Academy scrambled to organize a tribute to the 48-year-old superstar. Despite her troubled life, Houston possessed one of the greatest voices in music and was one of the best-selling artists of all time, with enduring hits like I Want to Dance with Somebody, The Greatest Love of All, and her cover of Dolly Parton's I Will Always Love You. In addition to being the only artist to score 7 consecutive #1 singles on the Billboard Hot 100, which is awesome and impressive, Houston earned 6 Grammy Awards, 28 Guinness World Records, and inductions into the Grammy Rhythm and Blues Music and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame during her career. I don't know if she knows or if she knew the impact that she had on music. I wonder if she knew. I wonder. Let's continue on. In 1964, the Beatles played their first show on U.S. soil at the nation's capital, performing at the Washington Coliseum. Over 8,000 fans showed up, requiring more than 350 police officers at the venue. Due to the stage's circular setup, the band stopped their set several times to turn Ringo Starr's drum kit and reposition their microphones, playing 12 songs, including their single I Want to Hold Your Hand. The band's performance was captured by CBS and played a telecast in cinemas in March 1964. If I'm not mistaken, I might have seen that somewhere on YouTube. And I think I may have watched that very recently. Let's continue on. In 2014, Queen became the first act in the UK to sell 6 million copies of an album with their 1981 Greatest Hits LP. The official charts company determined that 1 in 3 British families owned a copy of the record, which featured such tracks as Bohemian Rhapsody, Killer Queen, and Somebody to Love. In 1967, Hey, We Are the Monkees made history with their second album, More of the Monkees, jumped from number 122 to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, where it remained for 18 weeks. Eventually certified 5 times platinum by the RIAA, More of the Monkees became the first pop rock album to be the top-selling title of the year in the United States. And in 1963, in a marathon day-long session, the Beatles recorded 10 songs for their debut album, plus 4 additional tracks, including their next 2 singles. Before wrapping at 10:45 p.m., the band recorded a cover of the Isley Brothers' Twist and Shout, a favorite at their live shows. John Lennon led the vocal performance, and his first take was chosen for Please Please Me. Now we have some birthdays here for February the 11th in music. We have Jerry Goffin, who is a songwriter, was born on this day in 1939. Sergio Mendes was born in 1941. Born on February the 11th, 1962. One of my favorite singers of the 90s, Sheryl Crow. Here's another one that passed away very recently, and so it was sometime last year. It was D'Angelo, was born on this day in 1974. Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park was born on February the 11th, 1977. Born on this day in 1979, Brandy. And born in 1981, Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child. Those are all the things that happened on this day in the world of music. And I do believe it is about that time for the main event for episode 57 of the Rock On Wild Show. And that is Beyond the Black. So, Beyond the Black is a band that forms back in 2014. They're from Mannheim, Germany. And the band is fronted by singer Jennifer Haven. I would consider them a symphonic metal band, a modern symphonic metal band, if you will. So they've been around. They have 6 studio albums. Before I get to the albums themselves, I am going to rank my top 20 favorite songs by Beyond the Black along with some honorable mentions. Here are those honorable mentions: Ravens, I Remember Dying, Not in Our Name, Heaven and Hell, Heart of the Hurricane, and Let There Be Rain. My number 20 favorite Beyond the Black song of all time, Dancing in the Dark. Number 19, Running to the Edge. Number 18, oh, hang on just a second. Okay, so I have one of the honorable mentions at number 18, but I will have to include another one in the honorable mentions. So I'm going to switch I Remember Dying. I Remember Dying at number 18, and I didn't realize that when I'd done this, I already have it twice. So I am going to include a song from their first album on this at this list for number 18. It's going to be the cover of Love Me Forever by Motorhead. That is a really, really good cover. So Love Me Forever, their cover, will be number 18, will be one of the honorable mentions, actually. So number 18 on my list is I Remember Dying. That will stay there. Number 17 on my top 20 favorite Beyond the Black songs of all time, Beautiful Lies. Coming in at number 16, Winter is Coming. That song is from their self-titled album. Number 15, Unbroken. And number 14, Human. Coming in at number 13, Disarray. Coming in at number 12 is Reincarnation. Number 11, Forget My Name. Now we have top 10, my favorite top 10 songs by Beyond the Black. Coming in at number 10 is one of their latest songs off their new album, The Art of Being Alone, featuring the singer of Lord of the Lost. Coming in at number 9, Pearl in a World of Dirt, a great ballad of theirs. Coming in at my number 8 spot of my favorite Beyond the Black songs of all time, this is the song that introduced me to the band Beyond the Black back in 2015. That was In the Shadows. Coming in at number 6 on this list, Shine and Shade. Coming in at number 5, Songs of Love and Death, the title track of the very first album. Coming in at number 4 on this list, When Angels Fall. At number 3 on this list is one of their new songs from their new album. It is the title track, Break the Silence. The runner-up position at number 2 on my top 20 favorite Beyond the Black songs of all time is from their self-titled album. And this is the very first track on that record. It is There Anybody Out There? And my number 1 favorite Beyond the Black song of all time is Hallelujah. And no, that is not a cover song at all. It's one of their originals. So that was my top 20 favorite songs by Beyond the Black. And now for the co-main event, I'm going to rank all of their studio albums from my least favorite to my most favorite. But in order to do this, I'm going to present my screen so that you will see the list of all of their albums right here. So Songs of Love and Death was their very first album that came out February 13th, 2015, almost a couple of days from their 11th anniversary of their first studio album. And also Lost It Forever, which is their second album, that came out February the 12th, which would be 10 years tomorrow, which is an interesting coincidence right there. Their third album was Heart of the Hurricane, which was released on August 31st, 2018. Their fourth album was Horizons, which came out June 19th, 2020. Their self-titled album came out 3 years ago, January the 13th, 2023. And their latest is right there, Break the Silence. That came out not too long ago, very recent, January the 9th, 2026. So how do I rank all of their 6 studio albums. Well, coming in at number 6 on my list, my least favorite Beyond the Black album is Horizons. The reason why I have Horizons at the very bottom of this list is mainly because this is an album I don't go to very often. And I think they really deviated from their symphonic metal sound as well. This is more of their experimental type of album where it sounds a lot more rock than metal, which in a way does bring out Jennifer's vocals. I will give the album credit for that. However, this is not an album I would go back to listen to as much as the other ones. To me, the biggest standout song on this record is their single Human. And that's pretty much the only one that I remember in my head how that goes. Of course, you have songs like Horizon, Misery, Wounded Healer is a decent song as well. And Some Kind of Monster, Golden Pariah, Marching On, You're Not Alone. Welcome to My Wasteland is a decent track as well. And also, the album is 55 minutes, and I think that's just a little bit too long for a record that I'm not very interested in at all. So that's why it's at number 6 on my list. Coming in at number 5, my 5th, the Beyond the Black album that comes in 5th place on my list is Heart of a Hurricane. This is another album I think is largely forgettable due to their sound deviating only a little bit. They still have the symphonic metal elements throughout this entire album, but again, like Last Place, this album right here, Heart of a Hurricane, is not an album I would go to as much as I do with the other ones. So, to me, the biggest standout song on this record is the title track, Heart of the Hurricane. Through the Mirror is a decent song as well. Breeze, however, is not a song I like from Beyond the Black. It's one of my least favorite songs of theirs. Really, when it comes to Beyond the Black songs that I least like, a lot of them come from Horizons as well as this album right here. And there's a couple of bonus tracks, Echo from the Past and Parade. Now, the actual runtime of this album is 55 minutes, and it's kind of like Horizons. The only difference is that I would rather listen to this album over Horizons, which is why this one is just slightly above it. So that's why The Heart of the Hurricane is at number 5 on my list. Coming in at number 4 is their second album, Lost in Forever. Now, when it comes to Lost in Forever, I think this is a pretty good album from top to bottom. Almost every single song on here I absolutely love. I love the title track, Lost in Forever. And it goes into Beautiful Lies, Written in Blood, Against the World, Beyond the Mirror, Hello Over Dark's a good ballad. Disarray, I mentioned that earlier. Forget My Name's a good one. Burning in Flames, Nevermore, Shine and Shade, Heaven and Hell, and Love's a Burden. Again, though, the only reason why this is not higher is because of the length of the record. Now, this is an album I would go back and listen to multiple, endless, countless times. The only little nitpick I have with this record is the length of it being over an hour long. That's the only reason. So it's still a really good record, but you got to be in it for the long haul for that one. My number 3 favorite Beyond the Black album is their very first record, Songs of Love and Death. Let's go to the track listing here. And when it comes to Songs of Love and Death, to me, there's a lot of standout songs on this record. And I mentioned it earlier. My number 1 favorite Beyond the Black song is Hallelujah. and it's right there in the middle of this record. It's my go-to song of theirs. And this is also one of those go-to albums of mine when it comes to Beyond the Black. I think they found their sound right away with their symphonic metal elements, which is why I think a lot of songs on this record stand out more than songs from their Horizons record and Heart of a Hurricane record. To me, one of the other big standouts is their title track, Songs of Love and Death. Also, When Angels Fall, I think is a really, really catchy tune, especially with the chorus of it. Unbroken, I think, is a really good ballad. Pearl in the World of Dirt is also a really good ballad as well. And you also have the title track, Love Me Forever, which is a cover of Motorhead. The only thing I would nitpick about this record is that sometimes the song structuring can be a little bit off. I would maybe throw in a ballad somewhere in close to the end of it. Let the ballad space out a little bit. But other than that, this is a record I absolutely love. And it's one of my favorite records, not only of Beyond the Black, but for the past 10 to 11 years. So that's the reason why their first album, Songs of Love and Death, comes in at number 3 on my list. My number 2 favorite album by Beyond the Black, it is their latest, Break the Silence. And the reason why I really, really love this record that came out just recently is that even though it's a short record, the song structuring, how Jennifer arranges the songs on this is absolutely tremendous. And the funny thing is that with the length of the record being only 37 and a half minutes, it goes by relatively quick. It doesn't even feel like 37 minutes. And to me, the biggest standouts are the singles that were released, like the title track, Break the Silence, The Art of Being Alone, Rising High, and Let There Be Rain, I think, is probably the biggest standout on this record. And you have Ravens, which is a pretty much Beyond the Black's anthem of talking about everybody and singing about everybody, all their fans, all their Ravens. And Jennifer also speaks a little bit of German and a little bit of French in track number 8 and track number 10. I wouldn't be able to pronounce those words at all, but I really like those songs as well. That last song on the record, I think, is a great way to end this record. And Rising High is a great way to kick off the record, and everything in between is icing on the cake. That's why their album, Break the Silence, is my number 2 favorite Beyond the Black album of all time. But my number 1 favorite Beyond the Black album, out of all of their studio albums, it is their self-titled album that came out 3 years ago in 2013. And the reason why is because I feel like this album is just the perfect length for one thing. It's 42 minutes. And again, it's one of those albums where you don't feel the length of it at all. It goes by relatively quick. And again, the song structuring is absolutely top-notch. This is Beyond the Black at their symphonic metal sound best. And they kick it off with Is There Anybody Out There, which is one of my favorite Beyond the Black songs, as you heard from my previous top 20 list. And what a great way to kick off that album. And then it goes into their single Reincarnation, which is a great second song. And Free Me, not one of my favorite Beyond the Black songs, but it's one that really fits right in at track number 3. Then you have Winter Is Coming, which is a really, really good song. Wide Awake is a really, really good ballad of theirs. And then Dancing in the Dark, which was another single, was that track number 7. I like how they spaced out a couple other singles leading up to the record. So I think that's also a big plus as well. You don't want to give away all of your singles in the first 3 to 4 tracks. So I like that they space it out a little bit. And of course, they close off the record with "I Remember Dying," which is to me the best way to end their self-titled album. That is why their self-titled album is my favorite studio album by Beyond the Black. And like I said, Beyond the Black, they are one of my favorite bands going right now. And this has been episode number 57 of the Rock Out Wild Show. I'm going to leave you all with a quote, and it goes something like this. You are enough just as you are. Remember, the right people will come into your life at the right time. Allow yourself to let go of those who do not reciprocate your energy and appreciate those who uplift and support you. Focus on nurturing your own well-being, your passions, and your growth. Your worth is not determined by the attention or validation from others. Eventually, embrace your individuality and cherish the relationships that celebrate and honor all that you are. Trust that everything will fall into place when you stay true to yourself and follow the path that brings you genuine happiness and fulfillment. Send love and gratitude to those who choose to walk by your side, and release those who choose to walk a different one. I am your host, Just Mike. This has been episode 57 of the Rock Out Wild Show. And on a final note, too, all of you watching, get plenty of rest and always do your best.